The iOS has a very simple and generic help engine that you should be familiar with. One thing I like about iOS is that if you ever get lost, you can always use the iOS help to figure out what you're doing. There are a couple of ways to use it. One of the ways to use help is by just plainly looking for the command that you want to execute. At any of the prompts, regardless of what context you're in, inside the iOS interface, you're allowed to use the question mark for help. Now, it doesn't require a return. All you have to do is hit the question mark. This will display every possible command that you can execute. So if you want to see if the commands are available in a certain context, of course you can do that. Now, one of the other cool things that you can do with help is if you can't quite remember exactly the format of the command, but you know the particular letter it begins with, you can type in the letter or even a set of letters and then add a question mark without any space. It will display all of the commands that begin with those characters. Now in this case, you can see that I've used a C with a question mark. So the help is going to yield clear and clock, the two commands that begin with C. Let's say that I was trying to set the clock on my router so that I have accurate timestamps for when things happen. However, I do not quite remember what the clock command looks like. Well, let's go ahead and use the iOS help to figure it out. What I can do is that I use one of the features of help, which is to execute the command itself. Type clock, put a space, and then put a question mark. It's going to give me the next part of the command. So in this case, we have clock set. Once I type set on the command line, I can put the question mark again. It's going to give me the next step in the command. So you can actually use help to step yourself through any of the commands within the iOS. It will actually give you dots and slashes and dashes and everything that's supposed to be there in the command. It's actually very much like a command builder.